Hare Krishna.
Hare my screen. Uh, Okay, I hope it's visible to everyone. We'll just get started. Today, it's our first session that we are going to discuss about Bhagavad Gita, and we'll come to know why Bhagavad Gita is spoken. But before beginning, we will just start with prayers, as we always do, because it's always important to seek the blessings from our senior acharyas, gurus. So let's see. You don't have to recite after me. You can recite, but you can be just on mute. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashilakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Panchakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhyeva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Desha Tarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gauravaktam Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, welcome everyone. So we are going to start with Bhagavad Gita, and this is going to be very interesting discussion. And today is the most important day of Bhagavad Gita because that's the root cause of Bhagavad Gita, why it was spoken, right? If any tree is grown, then that's its root cause is its seed. So this chapter is a bija of Bhagavad Gita. But before starting, we just have to understand about Krishna, right? So what Prabhupada had said, like Lord Krishna is supreme personality of Godhead. He is like personality. He's not in impersonal, right? He has a form. So according to statements of Bhagavad Gita or statements of Arjuna, the person who is trying to understand Bhagavad Gita, we should at least theoretically accept Sri Krishna as supreme personality of Godhead. With that submissive spirit, we can understand the Bhagavad Gita. So we have to understand Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's what Prabhupada has explained here. So when we are having any political meeting, we have political figures like Mahatma Gandhi or Nehru or any other people, their photos. But when Prabhupada was in one of the meetings or one of the event about Bhagavad Gita, what he saw, there was no image of Krishna or Arjuna in there. So that their assumption was God is Nirakar. God doesn't have any form. So that's incorrect understanding. What is mentioned in chapter 12, Krishna is not impersonal. We are going to study that in chapter 12. Krishna has body, like you and me, like Krishna also has body, but his body is divine, spiritual body. So we cannot assume like he's normal person like us, but he has divine body. Therefore, we'll next few slides we are going to just briefly discuss about Krishna, why Krishna is important and understand that what supreme personality of Godhead, why Krishna is supreme personality. That we'll understand. What is Bhagavad Gita? Yeah, like Bhagavad Gita is how Krishna is as a divine personality is explaining about life and how to live the life to the an ignorant personality Arjuna, like us. Arjuna is like us. So we have to understand this Bhagavad Gita from Krishna and Arjuna perspective. We can't keep Krishna and Arjuna aside. That's what we have to understand. So at least theoretically accept Sri Krishna as supreme personality of Godhead. Even if you are not convinced as of now, but at least understand this, accept this theoretically. Because this is what is explained in Brahma Samhita, written by Lord Brahma, like Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. So Ishvara means controller, Parama means supreme, supreme form, eternity, Satchid Ananda, like eternity, Sat Chit means knowledge, Ananda means bliss. So Krishna doesn't Anadir Adir. There is no end or beginning of Krishna. So why there is no end or beginning? If you remember in the last session, we had discussed like the fifth point of Bhagavad Gita that we are going to understand is about God and God has no time limit. So Krishna is beyond time. Okay. So he is like a sun. So when sunset, whenever it happens, we don't say कि sun is dying. Correct? हम लोग ये नहीं बोलते कि सूरज मर गया है. ऐसे नहीं. सूर्य का अस्त हुआ है because next day सूर्य फिर से वापस आने वाला है. Correct? In the same way, when Krishna comes and goes back, he goes back to his supreme abode. So that's what how we have to understand. Krishna is the source of millions of universes. See, if you have heard in Bible, Jesus Christ says, "Ki I am Son of God." In Quran, Muhammad says, "I am Messenger of God." But in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna confirms that he is God. This is how we should understand. Okay. So why Krishna is God? Now we'll see one by one. Because his birth and activities are divine. They prove his supremacy. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo vetti tatvatah tyakta deham punarjanma neti mameti so Arjuna. So those who understand that Krishna is divine and his appearance and activities are transcendental, when that person dies, he doesn't take birth again. That's what Krishna is saying in this verse. And that's why we have to understand Krishna as divine. Why what is divine in his birth or activities, right? You might be assuming. So when Krishna was born 5,000 years ago, he appeared in Mathura. When he was born, he showed his four-arm form to his father and mother, Devaki and Vasudeva. And then immediately he came to in his childlike appearance. The child was divine, he was not crying. This is one of the incident. When Vasudeva was carrying him to Gokul, then Yamuna actually gave path, the water gave path, and then Anantashesh was guiding him from the heavy rain that was happening. So in this way, we can see his birth and the activities are very divine. In his childhood, we can see like he has shown the Vishwaroop form or the that form to his mother. But having all these, Krishna is Parthasarathi. Parthasarathi means what? He is charioteer of Arjuna. We are going to see in chapter 1. Like he is driving chariot of Arjuna. Right? This is the greatness of Krishna. In chapter 11, we are going to see that Krishna has shown the Vishwaroop darshan to Arjuna. Okay. Krishna has multiple opulences. Opulences matlab qualities. Krishna has different qualities which are in unlimited quantity. Which are those qualities? The wealth, Aishwarya, beauty, Shriya, strength, Virya, knowledge, Jnana, fame, Yasha, and renunciation, Vairagya. These are opulence. So, Bhaga. Opulence matlab Bhaga. It is called as Bhaga. Okay. We can see in this world also we have many people have beauty, many people have wealth, many people have knowledge, many people have strength, many people have fame, many people have renunciation also. But Bhaga means who possess. The Bhaga means opulences. Vana means who possesses all the opulences. So Bhagavan means possessor of opulences. So all those opulences, why are those are available. Those are available in unlimited quantity in Krishna. So beauty is unlimited. You can see many saints, many people get attracted to Krishna. There is no limitation. Strength. At the age of 7, he has lifted Govardhan Hill. Fame. Many people, even gopis of Vrindavan, actually actually fond of him. Knowledge. He is very knowledgeable. Unlimited knowledge. All knowledge actually comes from Krishna. Wealth. and renunciation. Having all these, he was still a chariot driver. He was not fighting the war. So, one who possesses all six opulences in full is Bhagavan. Okay? We know who has lot of money, we call him Lakapati. Who have lakhs of money, then we call him Lakapati. If who have Arabs of money, then we call him Arabpati. But who is Lakshmipati, right? Narayan or Krishna. Here we'll see. And they say, I'm just skipping quickly because we want to begin. So, with the Ekam Shena Sthito Jagata, having all these qualities in Krishna, Ekam Shena, Eka Amsha, Amsha means even small fraction. Because of small fraction, the entire universe is running. Okay, and that's what is Bhagwan. He doesn't have to take too much of the effort to run the universe or multiple universes. And this Krishna's supremacy is accepted by all acharyas. Okay, which acharyas we are talking? Vyasadeva. In Bhagavad Gita also, there will be a one verse which is coming like Asito Narada Vyasa, like Asita, Vyasa, Narada, all those great personalities have accepted Krishna as God. When okay, so all great sages, here is the verse we can see. Asita, Narada, Devala, they are accepting God here. Even we can see the Madhvacharya, if you know Udupi, the Madhvacharya, he is worshipped Udupi Krishna. Ramanujacharya is also Sri Sampradaya Guru. He has also worshipped Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also worshipped Krishna. So these all great personalities have confirmed that Krishna is the supreme person. Even Pitamaha Bhishma, when he was dying, he mentioned that Krishna is the original Vishnu. That's what he is mentioned. Okay. So Krishna, there are 64 qualities. Lord Brahma has 50 qualities. Lord Shiva has 55 qualities. Lord Vishnu has 60 qualities. But Krishna has all 64 qualities. Which four qualities are greater than Vishnu? Krishna has Leela Madhuri, means he has different beautiful activities. That Leela Madhuri. Krishna has Bhakta Madhuri. He has a lot of affection towards his devotees. He has Venu Madhuri, means his people get attracted to his flute. He has Rupa Madhuri. He has the most beautiful form. Hence, Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. So, in conclusion, what we say? Krishna, although he appears in human form, his nature is transcendental. All demigods are subordinates of Krishna. Means there are departments like if India, when we call India as country, then there are chief ministers of every state. They have their own responsibilities. So in this way, all the demigods, they are subordinates of Krishna and they are working for their own departments or their own sectors. Krishna possesses all six opulence in full. Krishna's devotees are also always protected, that Krishna guarantees. His birth and activities are transcendental. He possesses four qualities which are absent in Vishnu that we just discussed. And Lord Krishna is source of all incarnation. Lord Krishna is supreme personality of Godhead. So all these 33 crore devatas that we talk, they are subordinates of Krishna. They work under his or they are his energy. We are Maya, Maya, Maya Dekshana Prakriti. That is, we are going to see in Bhagavad Gita that Krishna is the proprietor of everything. Okay. So this is about Krishna, and let's pray to Krishna that our study of Bhagavad Gita will be successful and at least we'll be able to apply this in our life. So now we are beginning with the first chapter. Anybody has any doubt? Just chat, say, you can mention in the chat box. Or just type yes, you have if you have understood what we have discussed so far. Just type yes in the chat box. Anybody? Yes, he may have been. So, thank you, thank you, thank you. So we are going to see the first chapter. In Sanskrit, the first chapter's name is Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Arjuna Vishada Yoga. All chapters in Bhagavad Gita have yoga at the end. So yoga ka matlab is not like that yoga asana what we do. So that is one of the part of that. But yoga means it comes from the word yuja. Its dhatu is yuja. And yuja means that what connects. And getting connected is yoga. Okay. So now you'll see Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Vishada means Arjuna is in distress. Now someone might say, ki, how can we get connected to God when Arjuna is in distress? Because that distress is the first or is very important step which many people face and they get attracted to God. That we see. And that's why we are going to see in this chapter about Arjuna's difficulties, his bewilderment, and all challenges that he has faced. He has faced. Interestingly, in this chapter, Krishna doesn't even speak even a single sloka or a single word. Right? Krishna has accepted the position of charioteer, and around him, thousands of soldiers are ready to fight. So Arjuna asks to take the chariot in the battlefield, and then the discussion goes forward. Okay. So I believe I'm going to skip through this history of Mahabharata. I understand that you all must have seen. Uh, do you know, everyone, the reason why Mahabharata war happened? Okay, there is a question: is Mahadev demigod? We'll come to that. Pankaj, Pankajji will come to that question at the end. Okay, my question is: has everyone seen or know Mahabharat story? Just type in yes in chat box. If you don't know Mahabharat, just type in no. I can explain this these two slides in detail. Anybody doesn't know why Mahabharat war happened? Just say no. Yeah, take it. I think most of Draupadi Apaharan. No, not Apaharan. That is Vastraharan. I'll just quickly place thing. As you can see in this slide, like Mahabharat is actually history. Is last slide last session में हमने देखा था like Shruti and Smriti. So it's part of Smriti sector of Indian Vedas, and in one of the part is Itihas. Itihas means history. So Mahabharata and Ramayana, these are considered as history, and these has Mahabharata has 1 lakh verses, 18 parvas, and one of the parva called as Bhishma Parva, which contains 700 shlokas of Bhagavad Gita. Okay, it is also known as Hitopadesh. Hitopadesh. It is also known as Hitopadesh. So this Mahabharata has lot of stories and all, and we are not going to discuss in detail, but I'll just quickly mention that this one incident happened when Kauravas and Pandavas, Kauravas are bad boys and Pandavas are good. So this good and bad, they were fighting over the property and their empire. And at one in one incidents in a gambling in a gambling match, Pandavas lost everything, and this Draupadi Vasran happened, and that was actually a trigger point for this Mahabharata, one of the greatest wars to happen. Okay, so I'll just skip through this section. Like this is the Kuru dynasty, like how it comes. You can just have a quick look at this. This pink section is Pandavas section, and this blue section is Kauravas section. And we'll just skip this. Or let me just spend some time in explaining this thing. So there was a king Shantanu who were first married to Ganga. Through Ganga, he got 8 sons, but first seven she actually uh, you can say she just discarded those kids, those childs as soon as they born. And then eighth one survived, and his name was Devavrat. Later on, people called him Bhishma because he took very difficult vow of celibacy that he. But when Ganga left Shantanu, Shantanu got married to Satyavati, and he had two children. Then Chitrasen and Vichitravirya, both of them couldn't survive, and because of that, with the Niyog process, his Vichitravirya's wives got children, like Ambika got Dhritarashtra, and Ambalika got Pandu, and third maid got Vidura. And in this way, Dhritarashtra was married to Gandhari, and they got 100 sons and one daughter. And then in Pandu's case, he had two wives. From first wife, he got Yudhishthir, Bhim, Arjun. From second wife, got Nakul and Sahadev. And Krishna was there alive. In this way, we can see. So it's in Hastinapur. Hastinapur is current day Delhi, and Gandhari was from Kandahar. Current date, it's in Afghanistan. Okay. So scriptures, like how do we understand scriptures? Right? Scriptures have different ways to understand. Literal means these events actually happened on earth. Like in history, we see these personalities were actually people and they were performing these activities. This is literal way to understand. There is also ethical way to understand is learning through these scriptures, events and stories. How do we learn these and apply those in our life, and how do we lead our life successfully? That is ethical way to understand. And metaphorical way is understanding in this way, like Kurukshetra is nothing but, or the battlefield is nothing but our life, and many opposing factors we are dealing with, many challenges that we are facing is like the battle we are facing, and we face various obstacles. So these are three ways we can understand any scripture: literal, ethical, and metaphorical. Okay, so I'm going to give you very interesting way to remember Bhagavad Gita. Okay, Just a moment. Okay, so what is the password? Every chapter will have this acronym. This acronym will not only tell you the theme of the chapter, but it will also help you to unpack the content of the chapter. So, acronym for first chapter is doubt. 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 Our spiritual life cannot begin without doubt. Okay, unless you have doubt, you won't be able to start your spiritual journey. Okay, in if you are not having any doubt about in our material life, that means something is wrong. Okay, we have to think about this. Okay, so mm, many times many situations come where we start doubting about life situations or the life. Like for example, someone is passing away, or some calamities like earthquake or flood or anything happens, some world situation, wars or pandemics, these things. You might have seen, like after pandemic, COVID pandemic, people going to temples has increased, right? In this way, their spiritual journey has started with the doubt, like why this is happening. So in this way, doubt in material life is actually triggering our real journey for spiritual life. So first chapter is all about doubts that Arjuna has, and how this doubt became the foundation of Bhagavad Gita was spoken. So what is the full form of doubt? D stands for Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana, verses 1 to 12. Verses 13 to 20 is ominous result, that is O. Uncertainty U, then 21 to 27 talks about that. B is bewildered, that 28 to 30, and T is turning point. Now we'll see each of these one by one. Okay. Doubt. Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana. So this is the first verse of Bhagavad Gita 1.1, like chapter 1, first verse. Is Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yujutsava Mamakaha Pandavaschaiva Kima Kurvata Sanjaya. So in this way, Dhritarashtra is asking Sanjaya. Okay. But like there might be question why we are listening to Dhritarashtra and Sanjaya here. Right? Dhritarashtra is a blind king of Kurukshetra, that Hastinapur. He's not able to go to battlefield. He's in his palace at Hastinapur, and he's listening to his assistant, Sanjaya, who had got the divine vision from his spiritual master. Okay, that divine, like Divya Drishti, Divya Chakshu. It is called as Divya Chakshu. Okay, so we can see, like, we have these video calling nowadays, right? That's nothing but a divine view using technology. But Sanjay had that at that time. In this way, whatever is happening at Kurukshetra war, Sanjay was able to see everything, and he was explaining these things to Dhritarashtra, all the events and everything. Sanjay begins explaining about Duryodhana, like how Duryodhana is actually encouraging his army, his warriors, by glorifying them, cautioning them. And in this way, you can see that the Duryodhana has some doubts, nervousness, not sure if he'll be able to win. In first 12 verses of this chapter, we hear about Duryodhana assessing the situation on the battlefield and motivating his warriors. Okay, so you can see here. This Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra, these personalities are very interesting, very intelligent person. They were very intelligent in actually running the empire and also talking to people, getting people to their side. They were having good intelligence quotient, you can say. They have very high IQ, sharp, diplomatic, everything. Okay. In previously in this world, social scientists used to think that the most intelligent people are most happy. Okay. We can even in the childhood we used to think like, okay, if person is very intelligent, then he must be very happy. But we have seen like people, very intelligent people who go to IITs, they also commit suicide. Right? That means there is some unhappiness in the life, in their life also. Then we know, and then we get to know there is more life than just having an intelligence. Okay, what we need is EQ, that emotional quotient. How we are able to understand our emotions, and that how to treat people. That is EQ. Okay, those who have EQ, they know how to relate with other people. They control their emotions. They meditate on their relationships, deal with other people's emotion at certain level of sensitivity. Without good level in emotional quotient, our emotions will overcome you. If you don't have EQ, then we will not able to be able to control our anger or any sadness or unhappiness. That happens later when we realize we need SQ. SQ means spiritual quotient. SQ means understanding there is a bigger picture than our life. There is something big thing is that is controlling our life. That how do we how do we understand this thing? Like this is defining our life. Okay. This will spiritual quotient maximizes our EQ and IQ. These people like ex, these things attributes to our happiness, real happiness. So when we see Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana, they had very high IQ. Okay, they were having very high IQ, very high intelligence, but they were falling short in their character and relationships and in their spirituality. Means they were falling short in EQ and SQ. Okay, therefore, even if you have high IQ and you don't have EQ or SQ, you will ultimately be frustrated. And this is the story of Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana, trying so many ways to find happiness, but they were always actually frustrated. Okay. In the first lesson, we can see the Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra's characters are self-centered. They were very selfish and actually miserly to use other. They were using other people for their benefit. Okay. You can understand the quality of a person, how they treat other people who aren't necessarily going to do something for them. Okay, if someone is not as intelligent as you, or as wealthy, or as materially good than you, and still if you are working, talking to him nicely, that defines our character. Okay, so Dhritarashtra and Duryodhan, they were talking nicely to individuals, if only if they could do something good for them. This is what we learn from first 12 verses. In second section, we saw talk about ominous results. Ominous means good results. Okay, we learn about something about future from these seven, 8 verses about Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana. Before the whole Gita starts, we are going to learn like how this war is going to end. So this verse talks about Panchajanya Rishikesho Devadattam Dhananjaya Poundram Dadmu Mahashankam Bhimakarma Vrukadara. So in this here the transcendental conscience of Krishna and Arjuna, it's talking about that Panchajanya is Krishna's conch shell. Conch shell means Shankha, right? So they are getting blown by Krishna and Arjuna. Okay. So victory is always there when Krishna is on their side. Okay, because it was already decided by Krishna, because Krishna was on their side. This verse reveals that no matter what Kauravas try, they are ultimately going to fail because Krishna is not on their side. They have actually factored or forgotten about divinity on their side and spirituality in their decision. So I'll just quickly tell you the story how Krishna got to Pandava's side. Anybody knows the story? Yes, just type in yes if you know the story why Krishna chose Pandava's side and not Kaurava's side. No? Okay. Kimia knows. Okay. You want to tell Kimia? Dharma. Okay. Yeah, that is true. Yes, true path. Anybody wants to speak and tell exact story, how exactly it happened? Okay, let me just explain. See, one day before the war was beginning and it was decided like there will be war. Okay, it was decided. At that time, Krishna was actually resting in his room, and they were the Krishna means Krishna's uh, you can say dynasty or their uh, they had not decided whom to side actually. वृष्णि वंशी their वंश their uh, मतलब उनके राज्य ने डिसाइड नहीं किया था किसको सपोर्ट करना है, कौरवों को करना है या पांडवों को करना है. So the Kauravas or Pandavas, they were actually collecting the allies. They were like partnering with many people, and in this with the same intention, Arjuna and Duryodhana approached Krishna on the same day, same time. Okay, and when Krishna inquired about like what is their purpose, then Arjuna asked like you should be on our side. Krishna said ki I cannot fight. I have actually vowed not to raise any arm or any shastra, anything. I will not be fighting with anybody basically. So there is no use of being on anyone's side. So what Arjuna told, like you can just be on our side. You don't have to fight. And Krishna said ki even Krishna, before that, Krishna said ki only I can either go on one side and my actually all these artilleries will go on other side, like all my soldiers and everything will be going to other side. We cannot be both on the same side. So choose what you want. So Arjuna chose Krishna and Duryodhana chose the Sena or the soldiers. That's what he wanted. Okay. So Duryodhana had forgotten about Krishna. He actually underestimated Krishna. Correct, correct. Yeah, I've quickly told this story. There is a very beautiful pastime also. So in this way, what we have to understand here is they Krishna or Arjuna has chosen Krishna on their side. And we also have to understand when God is on your side, there is no actually chance of failure. Okay. So this sounding of conch shells also indicate the victory on other side for other side because Krishna was on the side of Pandavas. Victory is always with the persons like sons of Pandu because Lord Krishna is associated with them. Okay. So in this section, we see three reasons for victory. There were three reasons why Pandavas were victorious. Dharma Kshetra. So in the beginning of the first verse, in the first verse, it's called as Dharma Kshetra Kurukshetra. So Kurukshetra is the place and it is termed as Dharma Kshetra. Dharma means it's a place of righteousness. Only right things will be happening there. If right things are happening or dharmic things are going to happen. So basically, unrighteous or adharmic will be getting defeated. That's what actually understood by Dhritarashtra only, and he mentioned that also. Second reason is conscious divine significance. So conscious sound symbolizes the intervention against Kauravas. So that with the sound of conscience, the heart of Kauravas were broken actually because of just sound. This represents the divinity. They have no chance of victory. And third reason, as we explained, is the Krishna is was on Pandava's side. Krishna is not on the Kaurava side, and that's what defined the victory. Okay. So what we have to understand, like Dhritarashtra, this future was already doomed. Okay. He was going to lose the war. Okay. So what is the meaning of Dhritarashtra? Dhritarashtra, Dhrita means who usurp, who actually absorbs other or gets control of others' land. It is Dhritarashtra. Okay. Who is Duryodhana? Is Duryodhana ka literal meaning is dirty fighter. And when they are having material life, this thing, their result is already decided that they are going to lose. In the same way, when we have material desires and we have material activities to actually achieve those desires, this is kind of losing the game of life and we'll never find the happiness. If we have spiritual desires and if we practice spiritual activities, that is kind of winning the game of life. Okay? This is what we have to understand from this. So, the happiness game, looking for the right thing in the wrong place. When we try to find the happiness, it is in the material things. When we try to find the happiness in wrong place, basically in material things, like material things means buying new phone, buying new car, buying car, bigger house, or all those things, right? This futility means if you don't get it, that lead to frustration. Okay, even if you get it, okay, after even if you get it, this is unstable, substantial. Like you may get it car, fulfill aspiration, but once you get it, you realize the experience was very limited. Actually, it doesn't quench your thirst of heart. And even if you manage to achieve the material desires, you realize these are temporary. Ultimately, whatever is the pleasure, what we are getting through material things is temporary. And it has the dual effects, duality. Every type of material happiness will be coupled with some kind of difficulty. So, what Krishna is telling us, like create a life that feels good on the side and not one that just looks good on on the outside. Okay, it should not be just feeling good on the inside. It should be just feeling good in the on the inside, not just looking good from the outside. Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana were busy in trying to accumulate so many material things and trying to find the happiness, but ultimately they were frustrated. Whereas Pandavas were actually about behind spirituality and they were successful. Okay, but if the Pandavas were definitely going to win, then in the beginning we saw like Arjuna had asked Krishna to draw the chariot at the in the middle of the in the middle of the battlefield, right? Why? Because the Arjuna was at the moment of uncertainty. Okay, so this moment of uncertainty is this comes to Arjuna, and what he says, he okay, take this chariot uh, uh, in the middle of the battlefield, and is like I have to see like who are there, right? Who are desiring to fight with me. That's what he wanted to see. Okay? Many a times we come to such situation, right? When we start questioning many things about life. Arjuna was at that junction, right? He was questioning and questioning about life, how it has come to that situation. Okay. Like Krishna, if that hasn't happened to you, it will definitely happen. It happens with everyone. Krishna creates that situation that will take us to this questioning. Okay. We are, so Arjuna was at, uh, he wanted to see who are there. So what he sees there his uncles, his brothers, all his relatives were against him. And he was going to kill them. That's what he realized. So what we see here is like these enemies are of growth. What are these enemies of growth? Like which prevent us from getting success. We are very busy in family life, professional life, our enjoyment. Okay. We are too comfortable with whatever we have currently, that is too comfortable. And we are too proud. Why should I learn? I'm already educated. We are not in control of what we have. Okay. So this inquiry, what Arjuna is going to do, is what we should be also doing. Okay. This bewilderment or the uncertainty, if we are not realizing this, that means we are not growing. And this is our enemy of growth. Okay. So we have to understand, if are we being too comfortable, that is not causing us any uncertainty about our future. Like we can't guarantee that we'll wake up on the next day or something will not happen to us, right? That is not guaranteed. We are just taking it granted. Ki, okay, whatever I'm going to eat today, tomorrow I'm going to get the same quality food. Everything so we are assuming everything. That is like getting too comfortable. So in this way, they're like these enemies of growth we have to understand from this section. And Krishna, like Arjuna was bewildered when he got into the middle of the battlefield. He was bewildered. Bewildered means he was confused. He looked around and saw his friends, and he saw like these are the people with whom he had grown, and he had learned many things. He had learned about war, and then he said he is going to reason for their death. Okay, So what he says, I'm now unable to stand here any longer. I'm forgetting myself and my mind is reeling. I only see cause of misfortune, O Krishna, killer of Keshi demon. Okay. So that's what he say. And he says, I do not see how any good can come from killing my own kinsman in his battle, nor can I, my dear Krishna, desire any subsequent victory, kingdom, or happiness. So he is doubting his abilities and his activities. If he is going to do a war, he thinks like it is going to cause unhappiness. So this is the point of existential confusion. Okay, Arjuna is at the whatever he learned throughout his life about being warrior. He was very successful warrior. He is now doubting his own skills. Whatever he has learned, is it useful? He thought he said in one of the verses, let me just stop everything and then I'll take sannyas. I don't want to fight. This was his existential confusion. It's the point in life when we question the purpose and the future. This may have happened to you already, or some of you may be undergoing in such existential confusion, or some of you may face in future. Okay, but it is where we question the life. Okay, at in these things, when people don't have any guidance, that creates confusion and insecurity, and this confusion and insecurity increases, that leads to an existential crisis, and that leads to depression. But when you have the right guidance can come in any form. It can come from Bhagavad Gita, it can come from any family member or any teacher or anybody, any friend. If you have right guidance, we get the clarity and purpose, and that creates existential awakening, and that creates the happiness. Okay, Arjuna. So, what Arjuna did, he approached Krishna for guidance, and therefore he came out as a wiser person. Whom to approach now? There might be question. Whom to approach for right guidance? We have to approach who knows you. Sajatiya means who knows you, who loves you. Snehasya means who loves you. He will. You are ascertained that he loves you, or that person likes you, and he can help you. Ashraya. This is the most important. You have to approach the person who has the knowledge and spiritual depth to guide you. Okay. So that is very, very important. First two, anyways, you will find easily. But third is you have to understand whom to approach properly. Okay. Luckily, Arjuna had Krishna in his life. But we have to understand, like, when we are going through existential crisis, we have to understand, like, you are not broken, you are healing. You are not lost, you are seeking. You are not stuck, you are exploring. You are not overthinking, you are learning. When we have this attitude in our mind, this whatever bewilderment or confusion that is getting caused is actually going to not trouble us. And then at the end of the chapter, Arjuna comes at the turning point and he says, like, Krishna, I don't want to fight. Okay. He cast away his cast aside his bow and arrows and sat down on the chariot in his mind, overwhelmed with the grief. What Arjuna mentioned before this is he mentioned some of the doubts. Which doubts? About compassion. All those people are going to die. How can I engage in such warfare? Arjuna is very compassionate. That is one of the qualities of devotees. And that's very right, actually. Compassion. Why to kill others? Happiness. Like if I kill, or Arjuna says, if I kill everyone, like how will I enjoy the happiness? There will not be anybody to share my happiness with them. Destroying the family. or society. If I kill somebody, that will lead to degradation of future and future generation. It will cause the sinful reactions. I'll be cursed for these reactions by killing people. The people who have contributed to my life, like my guru or my grandfather. So I'll get sinful reactions. Many people will think like these are good arguments, right? Therefore, Krishna, I should not fight. Many people who talks about humanity, they will think like this is, and we are going to see in the next chapter how these arguments are addressed by Krishna. Okay. When we see these arguments, like from Arjuna, Arjuna is very rightly said, he is very compassionate. He seems very nice, nice person. Okay. But in chapter 2, we are going to see that Arjuna's reasons are not valid. Krishna will begin to give much bigger perspective about life is all about and what Arjuna is and actually how to find the happiness. Many people think like Bhagavad Gita is book of violence. Like it's non-violent motivation, it's morality and war, it's last resort. So we have to understand Bhagavad Gita is not the book of violence. If you see, the armed conflicts has increased every year. It is increasing and increasing because of conflicts, no religious and non-religious. So it is not just because of Bhagavad Gita or anything. It is happening because of human tendencies. So that's the thing. So here we are concluding towards the chapter. We saw this today's chapter like about doubt. We saw this spiritual life begins with doubt. We have to remember this word doubt, doubt. D stands for Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana. We learned about their characteristics. After hearing their activities, we hear the result of war is ominous. Ominous. The Pandavas will win the war because Krishna is on their side. Still, Arjuna is unsure and wants to go to middle of the battlefield. Why? Because he is uncertain. There is uncertainty, so much death, so much potential for difficulty. Seeing everyone around him, Arjuna's emotions intensifies and he becomes bewildered. He sees many negative things that could happen if he engages in this warfare. Analyzing these arguments, he comes to turning point where he tells Krishna, I don't want to fight and engage in battle. In the second chapter, Krishna is going to give him answers. Now, this is the last final thing. Think differently is the sutra. Remember this. It's even if you don't remember anything from this thing, this particular presentation, just remember this one slide and your life will be transformed. World teaches you to leave the situation in difficulties, in problems, in adversities. You look for quick fixes, you look for shortcuts, or leave the situation. Okay. But when you are facing with the difficulties, the obstacles, the adversities, the existential confusion, don't try to escape the situation. But what Gita teaches you, learn from the situation. Okay. So this is the sutra for life. World teaches you, leave the situation. Gita teaches you, learn from the situation. Now, just as you are going away from this session, just reflect on what you have learned from this session, what you have liked, and how you are going to live this. Okay, the teachings of in your teachings of Gita will come to life when you live and apply it. That is very important. I hope this session was useful for you. In the next chapter, we are going to see about how Krishna is going to solve Arjuna's doubt. And not only that, he is going to tell us the real identity of us, like how we should also be thinking about ourselves. Okay. So this is all for today's session. Anybody has